Today, let's do a flip through of the Tuttle Twins free market rules. This is their economics core curriculum, and it is for younger children as well as older children. They have it set up so that you can use the same books for younger children and older children, and we'll talk about that in a minute. What you are going to see is 3 separate books. This one is for units 1 through 10. Then you have units 11 through 20 and units 21 through 30. Each unit is set up with 4 lessons in the unit. So you have an overarching theme for each unit, and then you have individual lessons within the unit that go back to that overarching theme. So you can see that each unit has 4 lessons, and each lesson is set up to take 1 week. So you have 4 weeks per unit, with a total of 30 units for the entire curriculum. And so that's 120 weeks that they have this set up to be utilized. Now for the first one, we'll take a look at that, and you can see Unit 1, do you really need that? So that is your overarching theme of, do you really need that? And so lesson 1 is what are wants and needs. So you have some general information, and then they separate it into the younger and older children. So lesson 1, ages 5 through 11, a little bit of information and a worksheet or some kind of activity. And then you have the wrap-up questions for the younger kids. Well, this is the same lesson. Unit 1, do you really need that? Lesson 1, this is for ages 12 to 17. And so you have a little bit more of an in-depth activity here. For this one, you have 3 types of cookies that you would be making, and then they want you to look at the Venn diagram for the different cookies. So what are your wants versus needs? What ingredients do you actually need to be able to say this is a cookie? And I really liked this activity when we did it. My daughter liked it as well. Then you have the wrap-up questions for the older children. Then they have these wonderful dinner conversation starters. And I like this because I think that it just extends the information, just extends the lesson beyond actually having the book in front of you. These are things that you can talk about over dinner. Also, they have these go deeper sections, and they provide us with wonderful websites to print out articles or more information. Now, for these articles that I have printed out thus far, they are pretty deep. So they're not normally your general run-of-the-mill articles. They do address these concepts in a much deeper way. And then we have what's in the next lesson, and we go to lesson 2. Again, here's a little bit of overview, and then you can see for ages 5 through 11. And then you have your activity, and then ages 12 through 17 with your activity. And this is where I just print out one of the articles that they recommend. And again, you have your dinner conversation starters, go deeper, and then what's in the next lesson. And we go on to lesson 3, and it is set up the same way for your younger children, 5 to 11, and then you have your ages 12 to 17. So you're studying the same concepts. They're just presented in different ways for your 5 to 11-year-old versus your 12 to 17-year-old. Dinner conversations, go deeper, what's in your next lesson. And then this is your final lesson for Unit 1. And you can see we have the activities for the younger children. And then here is your information and your wrap-up questions for Unit 1. And then you go into Unit 2. Again, here they do have go deeper activities that are available with each lesson. So you can purchase these as either print or PDF downloads. If you want to just do a printed copy, it's $75.99. If you want the printed copy and the digital copy, it is $87.99, or the digital only is $51.99. Now, as I mentioned, I was able to get this PDF, which I only printed out so far, the parent guide for units 1 through 10, because this is what we are working on currently. But you can see that it is just truly that. It's a parent teacher guide. So it shows you again the table of contents. So this is the same table of contents as what you would see in the student manual. Now that is where it ends as being the same, okay? So you can see that for Unit 1, it is, do you really need that? But the first page of the student guide talks about survival or self-actualization, and you can see that there's information. The parent guide is the background. So if you want more information, this parent guide really gives you the background of what you're going to be talking about, why it's set up the way it is, and additional introductory content. They also have quotes, and then it shows you the activities that you're going to be doing with each of the age ranges. And you can see here is your youth activity for ages 5 through 11. But this tells you the purpose of an activity. So not just what the activity is, but the why. Why do you want to do this activity, and what are your children going to be learning from it? And then you get some tips, and then following the tips are the wrap-up questions. In the student book, you just get the actual questions. In the teacher's manual, you get the questions, and then you get additional information so that you can further explain the different concepts or give a more in-depth answer to the question. And they provide the same thing for the teen activity for ages 12 through 17. Your purpose, then you have tips, wrap-up questions with answers, and then here's your dinner conversation starter. So this parent guide just has so much information in it. So in the student guide, where you just get the dinner conversation starters, you get the questions. In the parent guide, you get the questions and then additional information. So for example, this one says this is an open-ended question. So there can be several correct answers, but one example could be, and you have more information to go off of within this parent guide. Next, for the Go Deeper, this just gives you basically your link and a little bit of information. Then in your parent guide, it says this link gives you the chance to read and expand on this information. And then they talk about the information, key quotes, key sections. So this parent guide truly is a parent guide in giving you the information that you need to pull out from the curriculum, what they believe is important, and really suggestions for having those conversations with your kids. So now let's look at the topics that you will cover, since you have an understanding of how this is laid out. Again, each unit is divided into 4 lessons. Now, they don't have the title of the unit in here. They do have the title of the lesson, but not the unit in the table of contents. But they do have it in here. So I can just go through and let you know that what you're going to be looking at. Unit 1 is, do you really need that? Unit 2, what makes something useful? Number 3, Unit 3, why can't you always get what you want? Unit 4, can you have your cake and eat it too? Unit 5, why do people do what they do? Then we have Unit 6, where does value come from? Unit 7, where does value go? Unit 8, why do people produce certain things? 9, how does production create wealth? And then 10, what are the costs of trade? So those are the topics that are in the first book. Then we can go on to units 11 through 20, and you can see that this book is set up the same way. Unit 11 is, how do we trade? 12, what does money do? 13, what should money be? 14, how do we decide what to buy? 15, what determines demand? 16, how do we decide what to sell? 17, how do supply and demand work together? 18, what is the price of time? 19, how do banks work? And 20, what is Keynesianism? Our last book is units 21 through 30. Unit 21, what can central banks do to our money? 22, how do boom and bust cycles actually work? 23, how does a business work? 24, what is a monopoly? 25, what are taxes? 26, how do people from different countries trade? 27, how do people invest their money? 28, how do people make political decisions? 29, what's the best economic system? And 30, how can we use economics? So this is an overview of this economics curriculum from the Tuttle twins. Please let me know if you do have any questions, and I have an affiliate link down below, so if you do want to purchase this, I would appreciate you utilizing the affiliate link